Okay, hey YouTube, Todd here again, some guitar guy. First off, and as always, thanks for watching. So I apologize for being so late getting these updates in. I even had a viewer ask about how the Rusty Tank experience is going, and this is Rusty Tank 2.0. If you've seen any of my older videos on the 96 Hugger, I had a very similar experience with that bike, and it was a lot worse. Plus, it was exacerbated by the kind of poor installation of an aftermarket tank liner. And in the end, I decided simply just to buy a new tank. And I think that was the right call on that bike. On the 02 883R, there was no aftermarket tank liner, and the rust was not nearly as bad. I don't know, estimating maybe 10%, 15% of the surface area was corroded, probably at most. But a lot of lessons learned on with this, and really this is I would say two. First of all, the inspection camera. If you don't have one, I mean they're pretty cheap at around. I think I paid $30 for mine on Amazon a couple of years ago. You connect it with your phone. You can take pictures, videos. Yeah, that's that should be in your toolbox somewhere. And what are we looking at here? Well, this is the top of the tunnel, front of the tank. You see a little bit of the weld there, and obviously rust and corrosion. But the question, kind of glaring to me is, why are these tanks rusting, and is there a common denominator between the 96 and the 02? And it turns out there is. I don't have the page pulled up, but according to Sportsterpedia, in '04, Harley changed the steel from which they make these tanks to I think it was not clad, I read. Pretty sure that's right. But that steel does not require this epoxy-based coating for the that the earlier bikes required. So if you're riding a pre-04 Harley made a lot of upgrades and changes in '04, electrical and a lot of other stuff. But if you're riding one of these older bikes in particular, yeah, I would say, I think the common denominator is, and maybe the biggest lesson, is no ethanol blends. Run only pure gas. That's the common denominator. So 96 and '02, that's when ethanol blends were becoming a thing, and yeah, that's it's really hard to find pure gas. Now I do have another video. The puregas.org site is invaluable for this, but this is my hypothesis, because it can be tested. This is what happens when you run ethanol blends. In short order, it phase separates, and when it's, I guess, perfectly separated, at the very bottom you have water, right? Which is bad. You don't want that in your fuel tank or anywhere in your fuel system. In the next layer would be pure ethanol, okay? Which pure ethanol by itself is not corrosive. It's a drying agent, but you mix it with a little bit of water and it becomes really corrosive, and that's what's getting the tank. Further, the ethanol we get in our fuel supply is not pure ethanol. It's only about 96% pure from what I've read. So that 4% is what? Yeah, water. So, but you get it with a corrosive agent in your fuel. Now, ideally, I'll have to say this, ideally, if you ride daily or pretty much daily, a couple of times a week, and you keep this stuff stirred up and shaken up and it doesn't phase separate, well, you know, you're probably okay, at least as far as corrosion goes. You're still burning a diluted fuel, diluted by what, 10% ethanol, right? Um, and it's going to take a richer mixture to get the engine to, and it's still not going to run as well as it would with pure gasoline. But anyway, kind of back to phase separation. That's what's getting it, and it's really the ethanol blend. Well, how big of a problem is this phase separation? Well, the distributors, already know all this, right? So they have these sensors and to let them know in their storage tanks, when it becomes a critical level. And I don't know, I guess there's some kind of stirring agent or something in there. But to kind of wrap this up, really in any vehicle, no E10. Especially if you have an older vehicle, and we're talking specifically these Harleys. So pre-04s, yeah, I would, it's your bike, your money. I know everybody wants to run premium for, and some of the bikes do. Some of the owner's manuals do specify premium. In my Evo Sporty, it says regular, and the bike runs just fine on 87 pure. Now you put ethanol in it, and it runs like crap. Only in an emergency, and as soon as I possibly can, I dilute it with pure gas, or I guess whatever the opposite of diluting is. But yeah, I run pure gas. So that's all I have in this one. A ton more, or well, several more lessons learned in this. But that's what I think is causing the corrosion in this generation of Sporty. Please remember to do the YouTube thing, and until next time, 2 wheels down. Thanks, guys.